Alex Volkanovski beats Diego Lopez by decision at UFC 314, and overall the card was amazing. Really good card, really good pay-per-view from the start to the end. Let's start with the main event. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. Very close fight, but I did think it was a clear win by Volk. I had it 49-46. I did think he won first, second, and I think fourth and fifth. I can't quite remember. Obviously just finished and instantly making the video, but Volk was really good to come back. It's amazing to see. I was made up for him, and he really performed to a high level. Really clever performance and very strategic performance. His boxing was really good. His head movement was really good. I know he got clipped obviously in the end of the second round where he was kind of like leaning away and that backhand hit him square, but Diego Lopez was doing really well as well. Like, I think that's going to get taken away because obviously Volk won, which is not necessarily shouldn't get taken away, but Diego Lopez was really good. I didn't expect him to be that good. If it was going to go to decision, I thought he was either going to come out and knock Volkanovski out in the first or the second round. But if it went anything past 3, 4, 5 into them rounds, I thought Volkanovski was going to quite dominate. But Diego Lopez done really well. He applied loads of pressure. He defended the takedowns amazing. I think he only got took down once. And he was doing almost this like counter-punching game, but he was swinging super hard on them shots. And you kind of noticed the difference. Like, Volkanovski's jab was the money in this fight, constantly using it, landing loads of shots, constantly snapping Lopez's head back. And it just sets up bigger shots as well. Volkanovski, I thought, I really like the difference between, like, even if, so you'll notice fighters who, if they don't get the takedown, they kind of just hold it on for dear life, where if Volk didn't get the takedown, he then mixed up with shots as well, which was amazing. And then, even when he did get it down, he got it down, in that first round, he got him down, and great, obviously Lopez was straight back up, but that first round was prime Volk. Countering, amazing, knocking Lopez down, and his boxing was so good. His head movement is so good. Obviously, he keeps his hands quite low as well. A lot of the time, his head movement's so good, slipping out the way of shots, always firing back. His feints are amazing. He never just throws like a random feint. He's always throwing feints that he will throw, maybe like a fake the left kick or fake the jab, constantly moving his head. Great performance, and I'm made up for him. Absolutely made up. I do think he's going to stay active. I know he said he wants to fight 3 times this year, and I can see him doing that. I really can see him doing that. I can actually picture him seeing Volk versus Evloev on the July pay-per-view, which I think would be amazing. I think Evloev is definitely next. I think obviously Yair will come on to in a bit. Don't think he's done quite enough to get a title shot, especially against Volk, who's already beat him. So I do think it's going to be Evloev versus Volk next. And I think it'll be in July, honestly. Like, obviously that's 3 months away. So say he has a month off to rest, the rest of April off, the whole of May off. Is it not off, just like chilling, training here and there, and then he does a big 8-week camp and fights at the end of July in that pay-per-view. So very exciting times for the featherweight division with Volk being the champion, because we know how active he is. We know he's not just one of these guys who fights once a year. And that's what I want to see. I was made up that he took that long layoff. When he got dropped at the end of that second round, I was like, oh no, not again. I was watching it in Sydney. I'm in Sydney now, and the people here were absolutely buzzing for him. They were made up, and the scenes were amazing. When I do look at Diego Lopez, what's next for him, I just think the Yair Rodriguez in Mexico is perfect. He had major beef at the weigh-in, at the press conference, and then now, obviously, because Yair doesn't like the fact that Diego's representing Mexico, but he's from Brazil and that type of stuff, so it's perfect. Yair needs one more win before he fights for the title. Diego Lopez has just fought for the title. It's literally perfect. In Mexico, co-main event, maybe put Brandon Moreno as the feature fight, and then a big title as the main event. So it would be great. I would love to see it. And both of them, like, I know Diego Lopez lost, but it wasn't like a career-ending loss. Like, he can get 2 more wins and then he's straight back in for the title. Maybe when Volk retires, he then fights for the title. Or if Evloev beats Volk, then Diego Lopez only needs 1 more fight and then he gets the rematch with Evloev. So I do think Evloev should fight next for the title. I think he will, surely. They cannot deny him anymore. Volk versus Evloev, I'd obviously do way more breakdown leading up to it, but I just think Craig Jones is a different level jiu-jitsu coach, and I think Volk's wrestling and grappling so high level that I can see him being able to stuff the takedowns or scramble out of certain positions, and I can see him beating Evloev in the striking. So I would probably go Volk in that fight, but I think it'd be very close. Moving on to the next fight, Paddy versus Michael Chandler. Paddy was very impressive, I'm not going to lie, very impressive. It was probably his best performance to date, I'd say. Everyone probably said that about the Bobby Green fight too. And Chandler, like, it's a weird one with Chandler. He's obviously fought the best of the best. And he has had moments in the fight, but like, Charles Oliveira got dominated. Paddy Pimblett got dominated. Dustin Poirier, he had moments, but Dustin Poirier beat him pretty convincingly. Same with Justin Gaethje. So, it's a weird one. Obviously, knocked out Tony Ferguson, but looking back, that win isn't as impressive as it looked at the time. And he got dropped in the first round. And then beating Dan Hooker, which is very impressive, but 2-5 in 7 UFC fights. Like, where does he go from here now, Michael Chandler? I don't know. I really don't know what he does, because Conor McGregor's not coming back. So that is the fight to make. Or I'd love to see Conor McGregor versus Paddy Pimblett. I think that's the biggest fight. I think that's bigger than Ilia Topuria versus Makhachev. Obviously, doesn't mean as much, but globally, and the press conference you could do all around the world, maybe do it in Croke Park, in Cork. So that'd be a huge fight. But Michael Chandler, like, maybe if Gaethje loses, maybe he can fight Gaethje again. Or, I don't know, it's just a weird situation Chandler's in now. He's old, he's 38. Does he even fight again? Does he, I don't know, do like an almost where he moves up a weight and maybe fights Colby Covington or someone like that, or Colby moves down. So, Michael Chandler in a weird situation. Pimblett was really dominant. I thought, obviously Chandler, he had certain moments, like when he obviously got to take down the big knee tap, and Pimblett was almost in like a turtle position. Chandler wasn't doing much. That was the issue, where when Paddy was on top of Chandler, he was landing elbows, shots, trying for subs, where when Chandler was on Paddy, he wasn't really doing anything. And that was the huge difference in this fight. I was very impressed with Pimblett's performance, but the Michael Chandler, like, I can't describe it. Like, I was really surprised by Michael Chandler's performance. Don't get me wrong, maybe that just means Pimblett's that good, but Michael Chandler, I think personally that's probably the worst I've seen him. But is that me just counting out Paddy? So Paddy, obviously biggest win of his career. I love that he called out Charles mainly. I'm really glad that he called out Charles. Probably thought he was just going to go straight for Islam Makhachev, but I love the idea of he's got to fight one more big dog and then he fights for the title. If he fought for the title in Liverpool or in Anfield, it would be amazing for the city, but I don't think the UFC are going to do that. But the fact that he called out Charles, who's, I would say, maybe Arman's probably the bigger threat because he obviously beat Charles, but Oliveira, Dustin and Gaethje, Oliveira's definitely the biggest threat there. Conor McGregor did say on his Instagram, I'm really interested in Chandler versus Paddy. Obviously put £500 bet on Chandler by KO, which looks foolish now after that fight. If Paddy fought McGregor, biggest fight in UFC history, I'd say. If they were like dead respectful to each other, it wouldn't sell as much as started hating each other and start going at each other, do worldwide press conferences. It'd be amazing. But if we just break down Pimblett's performance today against Chandler, he done really good leg kicks. His leg kicks were really good. Obviously in that first, I think it was the first round, he went for the leg kick and missed completely, and then that's how Chandler was able to get on his back and get the takedown. But never once did I think Chandler was really going to hit him on the floor. He obviously jumped the triangle, which I thought was close, but obviously Michael Chandler was onto it, and then that third round was domination, absolute domination. He destroyed Michael Chandler's face, obviously with that big knee up the middle, and then that was kind of the beginning of the end. Michael Chandler, give him credit, he's very hard to submit. Obviously Dustin Poirier did submit him, but like obviously defended Oliveira on his back for ages, now defended Paddy on his back for ages. So very impressive by Michael Chandler to not get subbed, but Pimblett did pretty much just smash his face open, smash it to pieces. So where does Chandler go from here? Put it down in the comments what you think. I don't really know. I really don't know where he goes from here. He's older. He's fought the best guys in the division and lost to most of them. So let me know what you think. Pimblett, I'd love to see him fight Charles Oliveira. I think it was a great call out about the new submission threat of the division, and obviously the main submission threat of the division fighting each other. Would be a great grappling match and a great grappling exchanges in the fight, and it'd be a good fight to watch. Moving on to Yair Rodriguez versus Pitbull, was a really good fight. I thought Yair's kicks are, I think you could say this about every single fight with Yair, his kicks are unbelievable. That head kick in the first round where it was almost like sliced across Pitbull's face was really good, but I thought Pitbull landed a couple of good shots. Obviously Dana White was probably going to be buzzing at the biggest star in the whole, biggest star outside of the whole of the UFC. It's probably Pitbull. He's probably the best outside of it, and got beat by a ranked number 5 in the UFC. I know he's not buzzing that Chandler loses, but the fact that Chandler was one of the big guys outside the UFC, he's come in, he's 2-5 in the UFC, like it just shows the level of the UFC. That's why none of these other organisations can compete. And I think I'm actually going to do a little video about that this week, because it's like mind-blowing how good the UFC is compared to the other organisations. But this fight, really good, really fun fight as well, and it was a very good performance by Rodriguez. Don't be wrong though, me personally, doesn't deserve you a title. That doesn't deserve a title in my opinion. I think if Diego Lopez won, then maybe he could probably get a title shot, because there's beef at Mexico, would be great. Obviously he's Mexican, Diego Lopez reps Mexico, trains in Mexico, fights out of a gym in Mexico, but he's obviously from Brazil. So big beef, the press conference would be amazing and everyone would love it. But Diego Lopez didn't win, and I've already seen Volk first a couple of years ago in Volk's, what, three fights ago was it for Volk now? Obviously, 3 fights ago it was, so I don't want to see that again. I want you to have one more fight and then win. So I do think it should be Evloev next versus Volk, and then Yair fights Diego Lopez at Mexico, 320, and then if Yair wins, he can fight Volk. If Diego Lopez wins, he could maybe fight, if Evloev wins the title, he could fight Evloev. If not, he could fight maybe like an Aljamain Sterling, something like that. So really exciting stuff. And then moving on to me personally, I'd say the star of the show today, Silva. Obviously, that's a lie probably. I'd probably say Paddy Pimblett was the star of the show with Silva. I'd probably say both of them, and Dominic Reyes, fair play to him, but both of them, I was really impressed with their performance, especially the fact that at first I was like, oh, Silva's easily going to win. And then Bryce had this like confidence and this like straight, how do you even describe it, just desire to win. Obviously he's talking about how he's got the power of Jesus, power of God in him, and it's going to force him to win the fight. And then you watch some of the other content creators, and I felt like I almost got convinced. I could see it. I went from seeing easy Silva knockout to this could go either way. And don't be wrong, it could have, but Silva didn't really show that he could there. I was so impressed with his performance. His boxing and his striking is so clean. I done a video this week, a little short, breaking down that he loves that left hook backhand. He loves it. In his debut against Wilson, he landed it about 6 times. He's so good at landing it. What a surprise. He lands it again in this fight with Bryce Mitchell, knocks him down. And then, obviously, that wasn't the beginning of the end, but Bryce Mitchell gets back up, recovers, shoots in, head on the inside. Gene Silva already in that first round showed that he can catch Bryce in a guillotine if he's not careful. And Bryce Mitchell's got really high level jiu-jitsu, so this is really impressive from Gene Silva that he, as Bryce Mitchell obviously shot in, head on the inside, wraps up that ninja choke, finishes the fight, put Bryce out cold too. And that picture of him standing over him, barking at him, it was legendary. I'm not even gonna lie, with the beef and everything that's gone on with it, legendary picture that was. Now, the aftermath, Gene Silva just being a madman, I love it, I absolutely love it. I loved him getting up on the cage, barking. I love Joe Rogan getting the fighting nerds glasses on, then his head, Gene Silva's head fell off when he realised that he was made up. And it was a great fight, great performance, and when you've got that huge build-up of animosity and neither person wanting to lose, it makes the fight just amazing. It makes you on your edge of your seat, especially when like I remember back to the Makayev versus Manel Kape fight, and them two hated each other, absolutely hated each other, but neither one of them wanted to lose that badly. That made it almost a bit of a boring fight. This was not like that at all. This was, they really hated each other and really wanted to put a beating on each other. Bryce Mitchell was doing loads of the oblique kicks, which obviously career-ending kicks, but didn't matter. Gene Silva with that big left hook backhand. Then obviously Bryce Mitchell recovers, but then he shoots in, locks up the ninja choke, finishes the fight. Gene Silva, there's another man for featherweight. I'd love to see him fight maybe like I think an amazing fight. It'd be Gene Silva versus Arnold Allen. That'd be a great fight. Love to see that. He could fight, honestly, you could throw Gene Silva against Patricio Pitbull now. Don't know if he'd want to fight Pitbull, maybe like Brazil. Don't know if they're boys, but there's loads of fun matches in the featherweight division. Now Brian Ortega, Aljamain Sterling, but Arnold Allen, that'd be an amazing fight. Last but not least, Dominic Reyes, amazing performance. Everyone was backing Krylov, including me. I didn't really give Dominic Reyes a chance, to be honest. I really rate Krylov, and I couldn't believe it. Dominic Reyes looked amazing, absolutely amazing. Obviously, Krylov comes rushing in, he's off balance, his feet are aligned with each other. Reyes just hits him with that big backhand, knocks him out clean, and it was a brutal knockout. Dominic Reyes now, he only needs one more fight and then he fights for the title. Me personally, I'd like to see him fight the winner of Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. That's the main event of Baku in Azerbaijan. I think that's June 21st. So I'd love to see him fight the winner of that. If he wants to come back a bit sooner, he could probably fight Jan Blachowicz, which would be a sick fight. But overall, the card was amazing. Let me know what you think. Who do you think these should fight next? But in my opinion, the best fighters or the best performances on the card was definitely Paddy Pimblett and Gene Silva. Let me know what you think, and I will see you later.